Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Snort City Register Report. I'm your host, Miss Barth, and I am so pleased that you are here today. We have huge headlines, including the school cafeteria. What are they serving in your chocolate milk? Just what are they doing with all of those rocks on the playground? And why aren't we getting to play with sticks? But headlines for today, ladies and gentlemen, is Hugo Bugwort, and his launch for campaign for mayor. Stick around, it's about to be an excellent night of news. Former Pumpkinville Police Chief Hugo Bugwort announced yesterday that he will run for mayor of Snort City, calling himself the law and order candidate. Bugwort, who spoke to a cheering crowd in Gruber Park, is widely considered a shoo-in for the job. Snort City is a disgrace. We need Pumpkinville to be more like Pumpkinville. That means no more sloppiness, no more silliness, and no more foolish behavior. The speech was interrupted by several dogs in the back of the crowd when they overturned a hot dog cart. Injured in the fracas was Gertrude LaRue of 2nd Avenue. The dogs were not identified, however. Upon further review, Ike LaRue seemed to be at the height of the upset with the hot dog cart. Reporters did some digging and were able to find a letter written from Ike LaRue to his owner, Mrs. LaRue, safely from her hospital room. We bring that letter to you now. Dear Miss LaRue, how sorry I am to hear about your injuries. Who knew that hot dog carts were so unstable? I was simply trying to get a better view of Bugwort. The whole thing collapsed. I didn't even know it was happening. Heaven knows what those other dogs were doing. I must admit that they created an unfortunate impression of delinquency. Anyway, I'm shocked to hear that you'll be confined to the hospital for so long. No doubt you are worried about me. So am I. But Mrs. Hibbins promised to serve me my meals, and somehow I will persevere. With deepest sympathy, Ike. Dear Mrs. LaRue, thank you for your concern. Yes, this will be a difficult time for me, stuck here all alone while you recuperate in your pleasant hospital bed. But please, don't worry. I have become friendly with some of the dogs around town, some of the ones I met the other day in the park. We have decided to form a social club, which will perform various services for the community. Spending time with Fifi, Buck, and Chewy should help ease the pain of your absence. Plus, think of all the good deeds we'll be doing. Virtuously yours, Ike. The Snort City Register report brings us wild dogs on a rampage. Game disrupted. Unruly dogs plagued Snort City again yesterday, as one of the animals broke up a double play and ran away with a baseball during the Snort City Rabbits baseball game. The episode capped a week of problems that began on Tuesday when a pack of the rambunctious creatures broke up the annual fishing derby on Black Lake. Apparently, the dogs rolled in, then ate the catch. The following day, a group of dogs snuck into Mr. Dingaling truck outside Gruber Park and made off with 2 gallons of Rocky Road ice cream. None of the dogs have been apprehended, though ice cream vendor Eugene Phelps describes the leader as a scruffy black and white fellow. Dear Mrs. LaRue, please do not worry about me. I will not starve or die of loneliness. Yes, I read the newspaper accounts regarding dog problems. Frankly, I find them ridiculous. Can this cheerful and spirited behavior really be a problem? Where's the harm? And yet such lurid reporting. Some weak-minded individuals might come to believe that dogs represent a menace to our community. Hope you're feeling better, Ike. Hot off the trail today on October 8th, Bugwort calls for the canine crackdown. Calling dogs a menace to our community, mayoral candidate Hugo Bugwort yesterday announced his plans to crack down on the beasts. We can no longer tolerate this sort of behavior, he said, citing recent dog problems. Mr. Bugwort proposes not only a leash law and a curfew, but also a complete ban on the animals in most public places. When asked for comment, Mr. Bugwort stated, "This town is literally going to the dogs. I intend to stop it." In related news, a dog reportedly snuck into Brandemeyer's butcher shop on 2nd Avenue and made off with a string of beef sausages. Dear Mrs. LaRue, I must say that I have become alarmed by the ravings of this man Bugwort. Imagine if he were actually elected our city's highest office. The idea is unthinkable. I must figure it out. I must figure out a way to stop this impending disaster. Your worried dog, Ike. In conjunction with this news, we bring you a letter to the editor from the Snort City Register and Gazette from a concerned citizen. As a long-time resident, I must decry the wave of anti-dog hysteria sweeping over our city. Can we so quickly forget the loyalty of man's best friend, who accompanies our firefighters and the police on their perilous rounds, who rescues the weary traveler sick and stuck in the Alps, who serves the blind and the deaf too, most likely? Dogs, that's who. Signed, a concerned citizen. Gonna read for a while? Don't lick the book. Dear Mrs. LaRue, how I envy the safety of your hospital bed. Here in the outside world, things have become perilous, indeed. At least for the dogs. The awful Bugwort continues his scurrilous attacks. Yesterday, he referred to dogs as gangs of hooligans. He must be stopped. Therefore, I have decided to throw my hat in the ring. This afternoon, I will announce my candidacy. No doubt, the public response will be overwhelming. Your next mayor, Ike. Dear Mrs. LaRue, my first day on the campaign trail was fabulous. Everywhere, huge crowds turned out to cheer on my message of dog friendliness. My chums from the social club have agreed to help. Of course, we will do our best to keep this campaign positive, though I can't speak for my opponent, who appears to be vicious and unstable, if not insane. Mayorally yours, Ike. Dear Mrs. LaRue, in my appearances, I have been pointing out that if dogs are banned from many places like Gruber Park, cats will run wild. Are you fine with that? It's not good. It's not good. Not a pleasant thought. The campaign continues to gather steam. I think we have Bugwort on the ropes. Politically yours, Ike. P.S. I hope you don't mind, but I have been using the apartment as campaign headquarters. Bugwort challenged by mystery candidate. A mysterious new candidate has emerged to challenge Hugo Bugwort in his run for mayor. Supporters of Ike LaRue describe him as dog-friendly. Opponents point out that he is, in fact, a dog. Either way, the furry LaRue has begun a wage of fierce campaign against Bugwort, who promises to virtually ban all dogs from Snort City. Surprisingly, LaRue's message has begun to catch on. You know, my campaign manager and I really didn't anticipate this. We didn't know that it was coming about, but honestly, I'm not worried. You know, tomorrow is my big rally in Gruber Park, and I'll just deal with the dog lovers then. Dear Mrs. LaRue, my supporters and I have decided to confront Chief Bugwort at today's rally. We will be out in force, and though we will conduct ourselves in a dignified manner, I am sure that the results will be interesting. Hope you are well, Ike. P.S. Nothing will distract me from this important cause. In a surprising turn of events, LaRue happens to rescue Bugwort. Today we bring you Dog Called Hero. Hugo Bugwort was rushed to Memorial Hospital yesterday after collapsing on stage during a rally in Gruber Park. Apparently, he grew very dizzy while trying to shout down hecklers. Among his rescuers was his opponent, a local dog, Ike LaRue. So with intent to deal with the dog lovers, I'm not sure what happened, but I grew dizzy. My campaign manager remembers rushing me to the nearest vehicle, which was, of course, Mr. Dingling's ice cream truck. And for some reason, the dog was already inside. But, you know, I'm going to give him credit. He really did do his best to help out. LaRue saved me. All the way to the hospital, he fed me cool, delicious Rocky Road ice cream. By the time I got to the hospital, I was feeling much, much better. That rescue really put a new twist on my campaign and a very different perspective on what I had thought was happening with the dogs in this town. I have completely changed my mind about the dogs. In fact, I would be honored if Ike would serve with me as assistant mayor to make sure that the interests of the dogs are represented. And, you know, in the Bugwort administration, we want to make sure that we're friendly to all. So, we want to reach out and thank Ike LaRue for his services and his continued development for the town. LaRue, who departed for the Mr. Dingling truck, could not be reached for comment. Dear Mrs. LaRue, it turns out that Chief Bugwort is not such a bad fellow after all. In fact, he's swell. Anyway, politics are not for me. I would rather make friends than engage in this constant bickering, and since all I ever wanted was to make this city great for everyone, I have decided to wrap up my campaign and accept the chief's offer to serve as assistant mayor. I'm so glad that you're feeling better and will be able to attend my swearing-in ceremony. Your loyal dog, Ike. Ladies and gentlemen, a true Cinderella story in which a coming together of candidates between man and man's best friend. Today, Bugwort is sworn in. LaRue joins former adversary. Promising to have the most dog-friendly administration ever, new Mayor Hugo Bugwort was sworn in yesterday during a ceremony in Gruber Park. At his side was Assistant Mayor Ike LaRue, whom many credited with his success. This is a great day for everyone in Snort City, proclaimed Bugwort to loud cheers from the audience. The speech was interrupted when several dogs in the back of the crowd overturned a hot dog cart. Bugwort promised to look into the matter. It certainly is worrisome, he said. Who knew carts were so unstable? And that's all for your nightly news report. Thank you for joining us again. Remember to vote and be responsible citizens. Stay classy, Fairview. We're out. We're done. You can report.